I saw the pale light of the dawn shine its face on an unmarked grave. I saw the reaper carry on, swing his sickle and make us slaves. Air has gone silent here, no one left to shed a tear since I put that soul down in the ground. Never more that pleading voice, never more that burning choice, never more to hear that rattling sound. From down below, you call and you call and you call me. 6 feet down we go. You call, but that's all that befalls thee. From down below, you call and you call and you call me. 6 feet down we go. You call, but that's all that befalls thee.
As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, sisters, let's go down, let's go down, come on down. Oh, sisters, let's go down, down in the river to pray. As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, brothers, let's go down, let's go down, come on down, come on, brothers, let's go down, down in the river to pray. Oh, sinners, let's go down, let's go down, come on down. Oh, sinners, let's go down, down in the river to pray. Down in the river to pray.
All right, welcome back to Da Vinci Gaming, and tonight we're bringing to you a game called Perseverance. Yeah, don't know that much about it. I had kind of taken a look at this about a year ago when it first came out, and you know what? Totally forgot all about it. But the second version has come out. It's like it's in episodes, but they're an indie developer, and trying to get that stuff all out and everything. Man, it looked really, really interesting, though. I kind of took another look at it, and I want to play it now. And then we'll come back here in a couple of days and play part 2, since that just came out. But this is part 1 of Perseverance. I hope y'all enjoy this, man. I hope I enjoy it, too. I think I will. Yes? There's been a situation. An asset escaped from a research facility. We need you to retrieve her. Retrieve? I thought we disappear people. What happened? You'll be briefed in more detail shortly. We have other suspicions, but we need to gather more information. Have you finished your current assignment? Wrapping up, sir. Good. We're glad that your training pays off. I apologize if this ruins your holiday plans. I don't like the stillness anyway. It breaks my focus. I'm better off working. Good. Contact your source. Pick up your gear and go through the briefing. Get this over with as soon as possible. You're in for a drive. Am I supposed to bring her back alive? Not necessarily. Understood. What an intro for a phone call. Man, you almost need a cigarette after that, don't you? Alright, new game, let's go. This may contain content not appropriate for all ages. My name is Jack. Don't worry, you don't have to remember it. I'm gonna die soon anyway. I don't write these words to be remembered. I just want to explain how we end up like we are now, how and why the mankind collapsed, how come I was the one to witness it. To be honest, I just happened to be there when things started to get out of control. I was a simple guy, born in the mountains, always drawn in by the wilderness. But my parents wanted me to go to college. They worked hard and saved money only so they could send me there. I had no heart to refuse. If anything good came out of this venture, it was Natalie. When I first saw her, I thought she was an angel falling down from the sky. We kissed, we made out. It was like heaven. But as soon as the world opened up before me, another force pulled me back to earth. My father was diagnosed with a terminal cancer. I went back home, back to Grey Ville, small town in the middle of nowhere. The one thing that kept this place alive was a nearby military base. Nobody really knew what happened down there, but everybody sure loved talking about it. They said the military conducted human experiments, or they kept a UFO. Stuff that made kids go and watch, much to their parents' dismay. But I digress. What you need to know is, my father died. I was left alone in the little hometown without any education. I couldn't get a job at the base, and the town didn't have lots of offers either. Thankfully, my angel didn't forget about me. Natalie called. I asked her to come, so she did. When I proposed, she gave me a serious look and said, "Kneel before me, man." I looked her straight in the eye, smiled, and just kissed her. I promised I would never kneel before her, and that I would always be there for her. I don't have to tell you she accepted my proposal. I had to wait for her to graduate. Once she got her degree, I convinced her to move to my part of the world. We got married, she got pregnant twice. In the end, Hope was our only child. "10 years later, I found myself with another kind of angel. Natalie became the angel of death that wanted my manhood on a platter. Stupid as I was, I didn't care. I fought back. Man, I'm liking this art style. Liking the stories so far. Ooh, Friday, 4 o'clock, living room. Natalie, are you totally out of your mind? Look who's talking. She's just a little girl. A girl. You know how to recognize one of them, right? Are you serious now? I'm dead serious, and I'm not letting you take our daughter on a hunt. Why? Do you really want her to be this clueless broad who can't tell right from left, anyways always dependent on others? You're making her a cripple, which she isn't. She still has time to learn how rough the world can get. She's not a child anymore. You should see her when she's out there in the woods. You should see how smart she is and how quickly she learns new things. But you never. But I never what? Nothing, forget it. I can't believe what you were just about to say. You know why I can't be around the forest. You know the whole story. I trusted you with it, and yet... You really think I don't want to be around my family? That it's not important for me to be close to you and Hope? That's not what I meant. Screw you, Jack. I followed you back to this place so you could take care of her father's house and his legacy, whatever it is. After 12 years, I still can't figure it out. Can you? I refused to stay at college and work on my MD because I was in love with you. You promised me happiness. I believed you. I believed in you. I'm working my fingers to the bone at the hospital to bring something to the table, and it's not a banker's job, but I'm doing my best. What's the value you're bringing in? If it wasn't for this falling apart town and its part-time jobs, you wouldn't bring in any money to this family. You should have gotten a degree. If you had one, you could get a real job. We could stop worrying about money and the mortgage. We could be happy again. I could be happy again. What are you trying to... I sacrificed enough. I gave you everything. Don't you accuse me of being a bad mother. You got it? Nat, you know I appreciate everything you do. I really do. I just wanted to teach Hope something useful. Hunting's a good way of bringing food to our table during hard times. When real winter hits, I'll need her to give me a hand from time to time. I'm not letting you teach our daughter how to shoot animals with a goddamn gun. You know what? Maybe I wouldn't have to if you'd given me a son. Whoa. Whoa. There are times when we don't pay much attention to what's really going on. It all comes down to survival. The survival of ego, expectations, and control. The urge to win and gain an upper hand becomes so powerful, it makes us blind to the fact that we are hunting our loved ones in the process. We always gotta apologize, man. We always gotta apologize. Nat, I'm sorry. No, you meant it. I thought that we had left this terrible memory behind us. I thought you were over it. But I was wrong, wasn't I? After so many years, you still hold it against me. Do you hate me, Jack? Nat, you know I love you. Yet you bring it up. You don't care how much it hurts, do you? I'm going now. I don't feel like being around you right now. I know I won't change your mind about the hunting. You'll do as you please. Just be careful with our daughter. She's all I have. Wow, I shouldn't have been so rough with her. I probably should have gone by myself and never brought up the subject. Didn't expect it to be such a drama. Where are my car keys? I need to get moving. What am I gonna say to Hope? I've already promised her. Wow, guys, man, wow. This is a really, really deep opening to a story. I mean, we are, like 3 minutes in? This is like already that deep. Holy smokes. Normally, I don't like those stories where I got to read a lot, but I think this one's going to be interesting. Hey, appreciate everybody being here. Man, appreciate all the watchers, all the lurkers. Appreciate people being in chat, Cornholio. Yeah. All right. Let's continue on. Hey there, Hope. What are you doing out there? Come on inside. Was Mom crying? Mom doesn't feel very well, sweetie. We need to give her a little time. It's not true. Why were you two yelling? Is it because I told Mom I didn't want to go hunting with you? Oh, you don't want to go? Well, why didn't you tell me? We always have so much fun watching wild animals together. I just don't want to shoot them. I was afraid you'd get angry if I told you, so I told Mom. But now you two are fighting because of me. No, I wouldn't. Look, it's not your fault. If there's something you don't want to do, just tell me. I won't get angry, I promise. I'm sorry, Dad. It's fine, Hope. There's nothing to be sorry for. What were you up to anyway? You should have been back from school an hour ago. Oh, nothing. Were you playing near that military base again? Hope. Yeah, but there are so many trucks and I saw soldiers and... I told you that Murphy's base is not a place for children to hang around. Nobody knows what's down there. Maybe there are aliens from another planet who came to Earth to kidnap children. Yeah, and they can read your mind, and if they see you, they can replicate your body. Have you been watching scary movies with Mom again? Yes, no, well, kind of. Mom was watching alone, and I couldn't sleep, so I slipped in and watched with her. Invasion of the Body Snatchers and not a children's movie. Won't you agree? Yeah, it was really scary. Seriously now. No one knows what kind of operations they're running at Murphy's. What's behind that fence? I know you're smart, so I trust you. Can you promise me you won't go near that base alone? I promise. Good girl. Maybe the aliens didn't see you. Or maybe you're one of the replicas. Where's my beautiful daughter? Give her back, you monster. Hope, can you hear me? Dad, it's me. I knew you were in there. I'm coming for you, sweetie. I just need to fight this abomination first. Rawr. Dad, it tickles. I would give anything. I would give away everything to bring back those moments with her. Seeing her smile and feeling the pure love and joy around her. If I was ever truly happy, it was when I was with her and Natalie. Back then, I took it all for granted. I just didn't pay enough attention. All right, sweetie. I need to get ready for the trip. Can I come? Not this time. I need to take my time and do some thinking. Trust me, it's going to be super boring. But one day you'll take me with you again, right? I don't want to hunt, but we could still go bird watching together or something. Of course, sweetie. I'll take you with me next time. Great. Can I bring my plush rabbit along? Sure, as long as you keep an eye on him. Where is he anyway? I don't know. I think I've lost him again. Have you tried the attic? No, I don't like going to the attic alone. When I come back, we'll look for him together, okay? Promise? I promise. Okay, I'll go look for Mom. I think she's in the kitchen. Wonder what she's up to. She's probably preparing something for you. You think? Sometimes I wonder why your mom sticks with a clueless guy like me. Because she loves you. How do you know, Detective? Because she told me so. I love you too, Dad. I love you too, sweetie. Now, run along and make sure you clean up your room before I'm back. Dad? Yes, Pumpkin. Do you really wish you had a son instead of me? Oh. It's okay, Dad. I'll go see how Mom's doing. I'll clean the room before you're back. As she was walking away, I caught a glimpse of a tear in her eye. I had no idea the damage I had done that day. I'm still trying to figure out what malign force drove me to act like a bastard to my family. Maybe it was my short temper or my lack of restraint. Maybe it was something else. Having a son had always been my dream. I would imagine teaching him everything my father had never taught me. Take him out into the world, watching him grow and mature. Arm wrestling with him, sharing a glass of the same malt, discovering he became a superior man and feeling proud. But when Natalie got pregnant, I was as clueless as a parking machine. We lost our unborn baby. I messed up and lost my chance of becoming what I had been destined to be, father to a son. The reason I'm sharing this with you is because I want you to realize that things which really matter in life can't be bought, borrowed, or made. They just appear and disappear as soon as you stop taking notice. Once they're gone, it's impossible to bring them back. It's hard for me to see hope like this. I know she wants to look tough when she's around me, which should be more often. I'll look for a plush toy once I'm back. She's very attached to it, and no wonder. Mr. Rabbit has been with us since forever. Wonder where she lost him this time. She gets distracted sometimes. Anyway, I need to get ready. I got a 2 hours drive to make, and it's already getting late. Having a wood house is great, but driving to the country's edge can get tedious. I should drop by Bob's gas station and pick up some supplies. I made you some sandwiches for the road. Thank you, Nat. I wanted to tell you that I'm really hurt by what you said earlier, but I don't want to talk about it right now. You got me thinking, Jack. Thinking about you, about us, and about our future. Nat, let me finish. I realize that I'm responsible for my own happiness and shouldn't burden you with it. I decided. What did you decide? I decided I'm going back to my studies and that I want to get my final degree. This is what I always dreamed of, after all. I remembered you mentioned it a while ago, but I didn't think you were serious, are you? Why wouldn't I? For starters, this is a huge decision. It'll impact our lives. Don't you think we should at least talk about it first? We are talking about it now. Listen, I know we aren't on the greatest of terms right now, but this is kind of a big deal. I only hope we can talk it over more before any decisions are made, okay? Besides, what about hope? I trust you, Jack. I know you didn't mean what you said earlier. You were always a good father, and you are still. You'll take good care of her. To be honest, I realize that I carry my share of guilt too. I found myself competing with you for Hope's love. It's crazy. Yeah. I don't agree with everything you do, but it's life, I guess. None of us is perfect. We just need to put in effort and make it work. And I know that it won't work if we keep living in the same way, away from what we truly want. I want to become a physician, and that's what I'm going to do. Do I get to have a say? Do you want to stop me? I don't know yet. Well, what do you know, Jack? You were supposed to say, I know I love you. You know I do. Yeah, but sometimes it's nice to hear it from your husband. Makes you feel appreciated. Maybe you're right. Maybe I'm a bit frustrated right now. I feel stuck, you know? I understand. But I'm not changing my mind about getting a degree just like that. It's too important for me. We'll figure something out, Nat. We'll talk about it once you're back. I meant to ask you, is the Roadster working? Yeah, I fixed the suspension on the front tire. It should be fine. Last time it ran out of air, Bob came to the rescue, you know. Really? Our Bob? Well, ain't he a stand-up guy? It's not every day a girl gets rescued by a tall, muscular, handsome man. What's wrong? Are you jealous? I don't care about other men. Oh, really? Something tells me otherwise. Babe, I know I'm the best man around, and you know it too. Besides, even if you were attracted to him, there's no way in the world he would survive your constant nagging. I need to get ready. Yeah, I've got to run some errands too. Don't forget your sandwiches. I won't. Thanks, Nat. I love you. I know you do, Jack. Call me once you reach the cabin. Meanwhile, back at the ranch. Reporting in. What's your status? The tracking device works perfectly. I'm 15 clicks away from the target. She's on the move, but appears slow and random. Doesn't look like a challenge. Remember your protocol. Don't make a mess. Try to bring her alive if possible. She might be valuable. Yes, sir. We inform you that there is another asset operating in your area. Should your efforts fail, he will move in. Understood. We're counting on you. Thank you, sir. Friday, 5:42 at Bob's Station. Almost everything I needed was at the cabin, but I had to pick up a few things. I decided to stop at Bob's. I didn't feel like roaming around a supermarket, and besides, it was the only place to buy gasoline in a 30-mile radius. I also liked the owner. Bob wasn't his real name, but it was how he introduced himself. He told me his real name once, but I wasn't able to pronounce it correctly. His shop was the only place where you could score proper booze. The temptation was firmly there when I approached the door, and I struggled with it. On the one hand, alcohol would sure help me relax. On the other, I'd have to spend all my money, and I had little to begin with. Hi, Bob. Jack, good to see a familiar face. Like you see any other faces in here. You'd be surprised. I doubt I've ever seen as many new people as during the last 2 weeks. How come? Beats me. Ever since they built that highway, there's almost no traffic around here, especially at this time of year. But hey, who am I to complain? The more customers, the more money comes in. Anyway, what brings you here? Off for a trip? Yep, I feel like I need some time off. Where's Hope? Isn't she coming with you? No, not this time. That's a first. I thought you were trying to teach her some survival skills. She seemed into it. I still do. It's just, well, we had a big fight with Natalie over it. Do you want to talk about it? Natalie gave me a lecture about kids and responsibility. She said Hope didn't want to learn about hunting, and it turned out to be true. Hope admitted it. I don't know what to think about all this yet. Sometimes I feel like the worst father in the universe. I must admit, I see where they're coming from. Shooting prey wouldn't be my cup of tea either. What? You too? Guess this makes me the last barbarian in town. I like animals. They're living beings just like us. Instead of killing, I'd rather protect them and admire their beauty. But, you know, I wanted to become a vet once. Didn't work out though. I'm still paying off a painful loan for trying. Hunting isn't about killing. It's about going back to your primal self. It's about tapping into your true instincts. It actually teaches you to respect nature. Well, maybe. It still ends with the animal dying. I believe you can have another kind of strength. For example, Natalie seems to be pretty strong and capable enough to provide for you guys, even though I doubt she has ever shot an animal. Yeah, about that. Aren't you and Nat getting too familiar with each other? What do you mean? She told me you were her handyman. I just wanted to do a good deed and help a woman in need. Knight in shining armor, huh? Where's your horse, Chief? Same place yours is. What can I get you, Jack? I'll have a lighter, some batteries, and a few of those energy bars. Oh, and a flashlight. Last one I had is dead. Do you have some bandages? Ah, sure thing. Great. I'll take one. It's safer to have some. Should I got the usual order as well? Actually, I think I still have some left in my cabin, but... I think I'll pass this time around. Okay, so just a flashlight, a bandage, some batteries, energy bars. Here you go. Here you are. Thanks. Keep some change. Bob? Yeah. You said that there are different kinds of strengths in the world. I think you're right. And I want my daughter to have all of them. I want her to be ready for whatever life throws at her. You're a good man, Jack. Your heart's in the right place. I just need you to find your way. You just need to find your way. Gotta do my best, I guess. Have a good one, man. Bye, Chief. .605, still at Bob's station. I had everything I needed. I intended to go straight to the cabin, leaving all the worries behind for a while. I was looking forward to getting away from the issues at home and focusing on something else. As I was putting my supplies in my car, I noticed something strange. A young woman was strolling on the roadside. At first, she caught my attention simply because she was coming from outside of the town. The longer I watched her, the stranger it seemed. She looked to be around her 30s, but she was dressed more like a teenager. I was pretty sure she wasn't from around town either. I couldn't figure out what she was doing out there all by herself. Her clothes didn't suggest that she had come for a hike. They were far too thin for this time of year, and she wore some heavy makeup. It was smudged here and there, as if she had just run away from a bad party. I thought that maybe her date went south and some guy threw her out of his car without a warning. She looked confused, but strangely enough, she seemed happy at the time. I decided I might as well talk to her. I mean, wouldn't you be curious too? Ruh-roh. Hello, miss. Hello, angry mister. I'm not angry. My name's Jack. I'm Jane. Is everything all right? You look a bit lost. Well, I guess I am. Where am I? We're in Grey Ville. Oh, wow. Never heard of it. Is it pretty? Wow. Aren't you a little, worried? I mean, how'd you get here? I don't know, really. Should I be worried? Hey, Casper, how you doing, buddy? I have no idea. How come you don't know how you got here? I'd rather not say. It's embarrassing. You can tell me. I might be able to help you. To be honest, I have this condition. Sometimes I forget things, like, literally it's what happens if you live the way I do. Which is, I don't make much waitressing, so sometimes I volunteer to take part in a test. Do you know what a test is? Not really. You know, when a pharmaceutical company wants to introduce a new drug to the market, or a bunch of shrinks want to take a look into your subconscious, you sign some papers, swallow some pills, get examined, get paid. Simple. Unless you die in the process. Or you get invited to a random location where they put you in with other people in an unusual situation. Then they observe your behavior in a group and file some papers. I'm basically a part-time lab rat. It still doesn't explain how you got here. I walked for the past couple of miles. Some random guy picked me up and dropped me here. And prior to that, I guess I was taking part in a test. I think I got something to do with food. What was it about? I told you, I really don't remember. Besides, you're asking way too many questions, Jack. Is there someone we could call and ask to pick you up? That's another question. I guess we could call Jeff, but I doubt he would pick me up. Who's Jeff? My cat? Okay, it seems like you're doing fine. I'm hungry. I'm gonna be going now. Wait. There's one thing you could help me with? Yeah. I'm a little cold. There's a jacket in my car. You wait right here. Hey, Stephanie, welcome to the stream. Here you go, miss. You can have it. Thanks a lot. I'll borrow it for now, but I'd like to send it back when I get home. I didn't think you were such a kind person, Jack. You remind me of someone. Of whom? I can't remember his name. He was a guy working at a science facility. They were testing some new medicine, and I volunteered. I remembered he looked kind of glum, like he was disappointed. He would stare at me through a glass window. I thought it was cute, as if he was too shy to speak. Anyways, would you give me your address so I can send your jacket back? Sure, I'll write it down for you. Thanks, Joe. I'll send it back with some gifts. It's Jack. Listen, talk to Bob at the station down there. Ask him to fetch Hal Gifford for you, okay? He's the sheriff around here. He'll help you. Hal Gifford. I got it. Gosh, I'm so hungry. I need to eat something. Yeah, you'll figure something out. Sure. See you around, Joe. As I watched her walk away, I was pretty sure I'd never see that jacket again. Then again, I wouldn't be myself if I had just left her like that. It was already getting late and I still had a long way to reach my cabin. As I wasn't a big fan of driving after dark, I decided not to waste any more time. With my favorite band on the speakers, I turned on the engine and hit the road. The road I had to take wasn't popular, since most of the traffic moved up the highway. On the other hand, it was good for the town with less cars moving through it. On the other, little traffic was bad for business such as Bob's. It was bad for business in general. If it hadn't been for the military base employees, the town would have dried out. A few miles out of town, I saw a woman. She was leaning back against her car, smoking. She appeared relaxed, enjoying the moment. Seems like a nice young woman from here. Seeing her in the middle of nowhere, chilling, gave me a funny feeling. She seemed to be okay with being by herself. I thought I could use a company like that. Back then, I assumed she was just another solitary soul passing through, never to be seen again. I began to understand what Bob had talked about, seeing new people and all. For a second, I thought about stopping and enjoying a smoke with her. It's not like it would be cheating or anything. Would it? Never mind. Before I had a chance to make up my mind, I passed her and kept on driving. I had no idea what was coming for me. It took me forever to reach my father's land. I was tired and I didn't know why. For a second, I thought about the woman from the gas station. What was her name again? Jane? Weird one, that one. I never actually met someone who had gotten involved in various tests and experiments for a living. The forest had always given me a sense of peace. My father bought a large piece of land back when he was in his 20s. I wasn't sure what had been his idea about, but since he was gone, the land belonged to me. If I had known any better, I would have started a plantation of some sort, or chopped down part of the trees and sold them to the highest bidder, but I know that there was something else about this place and about that cabin. I couldn't put my finger on it, but I was drawn to it like a bee to a flower. 20 minutes later, I finally reached the cabin. Hidden deep in the woods, it was nearly out of reach. It was a place where I could cut off the constant noise. That's what exactly I needed. That was exactly what I needed. The sun was already down. I stopped in front of the door of the cabin to enjoy some silence. That Jane must have been a junkie or a hooker, probably both. I might have made a mistake by giving her my jacket and address. There's no way she could have just appeared in Grey Ville out of nowhere. She probably had her pimp looking for her. Sheriff would take care of that for sure. I wanted to enjoy the forest tranquility, but I couldn't. A dog was barking somewhere in the distance. I thought it was just a stray mutt. After a few seconds, the barking stopped. I let out a heavy sigh and opened the door. I instantly felt the familiar smell of wood and old blankets. Somewhere else. Friday, 7/17, inside the cabin. First thing I did was find some matches and build a fire. It was a long time since I'd stayed at that cabin. The air inside had gone stale. The furniture was covered in thick dust. Judging by the smell, a fungus had crept in somewhere. It felt like home. I didn't have the energy to take care of it. As soon as I got inside, all my weariness caught up. I tossed my bag onto the bed and sat down beside it. The worn-out wood creaked under my weight. I thought that I'd finally have a chance to relax. I was wrong. As soon as I sat down, my phone started ringing. The usual cheerful ringtone was now almost painful to listen to. I remember the times when you needed to walk around the house to get a signal. Now these bloody things can catch up with you even in the middle of nowhere. I reached down for my phone and checked the screen. There was a single name on it. Natalie. Right, I was supposed to call her. Was it already time for an aftermatch? Can't say I was ready, but I couldn't simply ignore her either. Hey, Stormy Cat, welcome to the stream, man. I hope you're enjoying your evening, and I hope you enjoy the story. Hello, Nat. Hi, Jack. How was the road? It was fine. I just got settled. Listen, about earlier. I think all has been said, Jack. Can you please, just for a second, stop pretending like you know it all? Okay. You're right. I'm not over what happened to us. But all I wanted was for Hope to be happy. I wanted to spend more time with her. That's why I suggested we go for a hunt together. Did it ever cross your mind to actually ask her about what she likes? Nat, she doesn't really know what she's into. I can give her a hammer and a bag of nails and she'll be into carpentry. She's just a kid. It's up to us to show her the options. I think you're underestimating her. She ain't a small kid anymore. You said it yourself. Well, I think you're overestimating her. Guess we're in a pickle here, aren't we? Yeah, I guess we are. I can't stay mad at you, Jack, even if you hurt me to the core. I'll make it up to you, Nat. Anyway, the hospital just called. Apparently they got some hard junkie case over there. I need to take a nighter and put Hope to sleep earlier. Is she gonna be okay? Yeah, don't worry. I asked Hal to check in on her. He said it's fine. When Hope's out, she's out for good. Speaking of the little devil, she wants to talk to you. Hold on. Hi, Dad. Hi, sweetie. Mom said there was something on your mind. Yeah, I was just thinking very hard about the hunting, and it came up with a great idea. Listen. I'm all ears. What if, instead of shooting animals, we just catch them? We could later bring them home and tame them in the backyard. I would take good care of them. And, Hope, sweetie. That's a great idea. That's a great idea, Hope. It was an awful lie, I know, but hearing how proud she was of her idea, I simply couldn't bring myself to break it to her. Sadly, I'd always been a poor liar. You don't sound very convincing, Dad. Well, you see, we can't just tame wild animals. They're much happier in the wild. That's where they belong. Then maybe we could just at least get a dog? I always wanted one. A dog can protect me and Mom if something scary happens, and he could be my best friend. Hope, we've talked about it already. Dog is a huge responsibility, and with me and Mom working, we wouldn't be able to take care of it properly. I could take care of it myself. Maybe this way Mom could come on a trip with us. She wouldn't be so scared of the forest if there was a big dog next to her, right? Yeah, we'll talk about it when I get back. But Dad... Anyway, I heard you'll be staying home alone tonight. No scary movies, okay? Okay, nothing scary, I promise. Don't tell Mom. But I'll be watching Princess Dragon. Princess Dragon, aren't you a bit too old for fairy tales? But it's my favorite movie. How do you know it's a fairy tale if you've never seen it? Well, I asked you to watch it with me once. Remember, you never did. We only do things you want to do. I'm sorry, I've been busy. Yeah, because you're always sitting in your shed with your monster car, or you're out somewhere far without me. Have fun by yourself, Dad. Wow, she hung up on me. That was a first. It wasn't a proper way to act for a child. I realized that I never noticed how quickly she became like her mother. She was all Natalie. All right. For a moment, I just sat there staring blankly at the screen on my phone. As soon as I had nothing to really focus on, all the thoughts I've been trying to suppress throughout the day started to come up. Thoughts about Natalie, thoughts about Hope, too scared to tell me that she didn't want to spend time with me the way I thought she wanted to. Tears in her eyes when I asked her if she'd rather have a son, and the discussion we had. I knew I would need to face these things eventually, but not at the moment. Back then, I just wanted to rest. Was that too much to ask? With a heavy heart, I got up and started searching for my loyal companion. I found her lying behind the bed waiting for me. If I had known that so many thoughts would catch up with me, I would have bought an extra one when Bob had suggested so. The body felt heavy in my hand, full of golden liquid. I looked down on the label only to notice something unexpected. Hey, look, old man. Isn't it your favorite brand? These days, thoughts about my father rarely crossed my mind, so when I saw the label, I couldn't help but smile. How many times have we drunk it together? Twice? Once for my 21st birthday, and once again when I came back to take care of you. You promised to drink with me again when my first child was born. You ran out of time, old man. I knew that if I took a sip, this conversation would go south. That's why I decided to go to sleep. That was too much excitement for one day. I didn't feel like indulging myself in a drunken trip down memory lane any longer. Besides, I was looking forward to some quiet time next day. I put the bottle away and dozed off. Reporting in. What's the status? She's on the move again. I found her tracking device. It looks like she's ripped it away with her own teeth. I've spoken with a guy who saw her at the local gas station. Seems she's gotten tangled up with the local authorities. Nothing I can't handle. This better not influence your schedule. It won't, sir. Good. You have 24 hours to contain the situation. Keep a low profile. Yes, sir. The additional asset has been involved, by the way. Once the target is contained, we will have another task for you. Understood. That night, I slept like a baby. To my own surprise, I woke up fresh and energetic, which is rarely the case. It didn't take me long to realize why. When I looked out the window, I noticed the sun was already high. I must have been out for at least 10 hours, which meant I had wasted my first day. No animal I was interested in would be active in the middle of the day. I heard that barking again. The dog had to still be outside somewhere. What's wrong with this damn mutt? I closed the window, but it got me thinking. Why would a dog still be out there? I decided to check it out. Leaving it like this could be dangerous, especially if the dog was aggressive. Stumbling upon it during a hunt could end badly. I grabbed a pocket knife from the shed and my bag with Natalie's sandwiches. The stuff I had brought from the gas station was still inside. Took my rifle too. If the dog had rabies or some other disease, it would fall on me to do something about it. Armed, I left the cabin. Following the barking was difficult. I couldn't use any of my usual tracks, so I walked into the forest blindly. Whenever the dog went silent, I was left without any clues of where to go. So I just waited patiently for it to start making noise again. Can't say I really minded. In the end, a chance to spend time surrounded by nature was the reason why I'd come here in the first place. Fortunately, but oddly at the same time, it seemed that the dog wasn't moving at all, like it was just sitting there, barking the whole day. Wandering through the forest took me almost 2 hours. It must have been long past noon when I finally found it. I had expected many things, but not what I saw. Instead of a stray mutt roaming around, it was a dangerously looking hound, tied to a tree. He was a magnificent beast, big and sturdy. I didn't know how much about dogs, but even I could recognize a purebred when I saw one. Looked like he had spent at least a couple days in the forest. He was a bit dirty, but still healthy and strong. There was a bloody wound on his neck. The collar must have cut his skin when he struggled to get himself free. Some bastard must have left him there to die. If I had laid my hands on the guy who did this, even just thinking about it made me furious. Someone decided to leave an animal to starve to death like he couldn't leave it in a shelter, and why? Out of shame? Because it was a long drive? These were all trivial, yet they were both. Hey there, buddy. Oh, okay, easy now, buddy. Easy now. I tried to approach the dog, but it turned out more difficult than I had expected. I had to focus on keeping all my fingers intact. First of all, I had to free him somehow. Touching the collar was out of the question. Tinkering with it at this point would cause him too much pain. Cutting the rope seemed to be a better option, but I couldn't do it without getting closer to the dog. Somehow I needed to gain his trust. Approach the dog head on or from the side? What do you think, guys? Head on or from the side? With the rope tied to his neck, I could more or less predict how far the dog could reach. That's why I decided to approach him head on. In the worst case scenario, I would just get out of his range. It was a poor choice. He didn't attack me, but he definitely felt threatened, for he took a step back and bared his teeth, wrinkling his nose. I could see it in his eyes that he didn't want to fight me, but knew that he couldn't run away. If I got any closer, he'd snap. Avert my gaze or look him in the eye. Avert my gaze. I didn't want him to feel challenged, so I gave him space by averting my gaze. I was still a little worried how he would react, so I watched him from the corner of my eye, ready to back off if I needed. But it seemed that the dog finally gained some confidence. He started to wag his tail timidly. Alongside the fear, I caught a glimpse of curiosity. The fangs were still there, but more as a reminder rather than a weapon ready to be used. He was waiting for my next move. I finally got my chance. We were still far from friendly terms, but that was about to change. I reached for my bag and opened it slowly. The lovely smell picked the dog's attention immediately. I had something no meat eater would be able to resist, especially not one that had just spent a few days stranded in the forest. I fished in the bag and pulled out one of Natalie's sandwiches. I'm sorry, Nat. It pains me to do it, but it's a necessary sacrifice. I know you'd understand if you were here. With a heavy heart, I grabbed one of those sandwiches Natalie made for me yesterday. Probably not the healthiest food for an animal, but hey, he probably didn't care. Time for worrying about nutritional values could come later. I ripped the packaging apart and threw its contents near the dog. It disappeared faster than I had thought possible. The dog must have been here for days. Wow, you must have really been hungry, huh? No worries, there's more of it. I unpacked 2 more sandwiches and tossed them to the dog. With his fangs out of my way, I finally had my chance to take care of that rope. It was a thick one with a polyester cover. I didn't know how much about ropes, but if I had to guess, I'd say it was probably used for climbing or sailing, somewhere where durability counts. The knot used to tie it around the tree wasn't trivial either. When the animal tugged it in an attempt to free himself, it only grew tighter. At this point, there was no way to untie it. Not with a pair of sharp teeth ready to bite my arm off. I needed to cut the rope somehow. Problem was, I wasn't sure if I was prepared. I quickly recalled all the things I had with me. I could use my rifle, pocket knife, a sandwich, a flashlight, an energy bar, and batteries. I don't think that pocket knife gonna do it. Well, an obvious choice. What else would a knife be for? Sadly, it wasn't that easy. The knife was pretty dull. Still useful for things like opening cans, but not so much for cutting. With the rope so thick, it would have taken ages before I got through even half of it. I needed something else. Man, this is a flippin' bad choice, because if I use that rifle, that dog is going to get scared out of his mind. Anything else I can do, man? I'm not going to use a sandwich on the rope. Not going to use a flashlight. Wow. Now my flashlight's got a little extra things on it where you can break car glass and all kinds of things. And it does have a rope cutter on it too. But I don't think that's every flashlight. Oh, would the batteries be able to burn it? Let's try it. I took one out of the packaging. Oh, for flip's sake. I figured you could use the battery to burn it. Alright, well. In the end, I concluded that trying would be a poor choice. Not only could I predict it would really work, but the sound of shooting would terrify the dog. That's why I said in the first place. Oh, alright. What else is a knife for? Alright, let's try the flashlight. No, just no. There's no way to use a flashlight to cut, Stephanie. Wait, I have an idea. A flashlight itself was useless to me now, but the bulb. The bulb could be used for various things. Starting a fire was one of them. Stephanie was right. I should have listened to her all along. I took the flashlight apart and picked up the bulb. I had all the things I needed. Now was the time to set my plan in motion. Using the pocket knife, I broke the bulb to expose the tungsten filament. Then I placed it under the rope and carefully touched the base of the bulb with the battery. The filament lit up immediately. The heat allowed me to melt the cover of the rope, which made cutting it much easier. As I was cutting the rope with my knife, I kept watching the dog. He sat there and was growling from time to time. I knew that he would attack me if he sensed hesitation or fear. Dogs respond to emotions. I focused on the rope and tried not to think about him snapping at me. It took me a couple minutes, but eventually the dog was free. Hey, buddy, your prison time's over. What do you want to do now? Not that you have much choice. Sorry, mate, but you look like a typical lap dog. Staying here's out of the question, plus your neck looks pretty bad. Someone should take care of it. Perhaps I know a guy, but I need you to come with me back to my cabin. It's an hour's walk from here. So what do you think? You up for a stroll? I'll take that as a yes. Probably wasn't a yes. The dog was still worried rather than hesitant to follow me. No wonder. It was impossible to tell how long he had been tied to that tree. Thankfully, last of the sandwiches did the trick. I was able to lead the dog all the way back to the cabin. I pulled my phone out and called for reinforcements. I knew how to patch up small scratches, but this guy needed some more skill than me. Hey, veterinarian boy. Hey, Jack, you remember? You must have been good with the ladies. Yeah, sure. I need your help. You know a thing or two about treating animals, right? Yeah, a thing or two. Why? You had a change of heart about shooting animals? No, I still hold my point. But I found a dog tied to a tree. Some bastard left him there to die. He's in pretty bad shape. Did you beat up the guy? No, but I would have if I had the chance. Anyway, the dog needs your attention. Wow, I mean, it's awful. Let me just grab my gear and I'll be right there. Are you going to leave your store unattended? Yeah, 2 hours won't hurt me. I've earned the weekend money already. The troops that arrived already recently at Murphy's base left in a lot of cash. All right, man. Thanks. See you soon. Bob came earlier than I expected. My guess was he had been speeding all the way. Hey, Jack, where's the patient? You don't waste time, do you? Over there. Took some convincing to get the dog to walk around through the door, but in the end, the prospect of a warm place to rest won him over. Bob approached the animal slowly. He clicked his tongue to get the dog's attention, then he extended his hand so the dog could smell it. Unlike me, he seemed to know exactly what to do. Bob reached down and removed the collar. I wondered if he would be able to keep his hand intact. Fortunately, he was. Not only that, he actually managed to clean the wound, even though the dog clearly wasn't happy about it. The animal began growling and leaning away, but the fearless man grabbed him firmly. The dog calmed down. Although I wouldn't openly admit it, I was impressed. I would have never guessed that this simple guy from a small gas station knew so much about handling animals. To be honest, I used to look down on him. I didn't know why exactly he had abandoned his studies. He seemed amazingly skilled. I doubted it was because of his poor marks. All right, I did as much as I could. The wound isn't actually that bad. His neck is swollen and there's some bleeding, but the cut wasn't deep, and he's a tough little fella. But remember, in the end, I'm not a specialist. You should take him to a professional. Yeah, I know. It's just that there's no vet around here, and driving this fellow back home with that wound would have been pretty hard on him. That's why I called you. Yeah, he doesn't seem to be open to trips with strangers yet. I also brought you some dog food. Don't give him too much at once. If he didn't eat for a few days, he might not digest it properly. Anyway, What you gonna do with him? I don't know yet. When I found him, I just had to help him. I didn't have much time to think about it, what to do with him later. I don't feel like giving him away to a shelter. Maybe you could take him? He seems to trust you. I would love to have a dog, but you know fully well I can't, Jack. Don't tempt me. Why not? You seem to be doing pretty well these days, and no, just no. You don't know how serious my debts are. I won't take responsibility for a living creature when I can't predict if I'll be able to pay my own bills next month. How a young guy like you got into such debts? Well, long story short, but back when I was still studying, me and my brother took over our father's company. It was in a pretty bad shape, but we were sure we could restore it and start making money again. I even dropped out of college and had enough time to make it work. It didn't work out. The amount of time overwhelmed both of us, and we didn't want to give up. We were stubborn people, me and my brother. Eventually, we went to a bank for a loan. That's how we ended up in debt. At one point, my brother decided it was all my fault, that I hadn't done enough, that I was slacking. He accused me of all of his bad decisions. I snapped and left. I've taken his gun with me. A few months later, I ended up here. Wow, man, that sounds tough. Yeah, I doubt there's anything worse than losing your close one's support. Sometimes it's better to leave than to manage with a tough person. But hey, it's all water under the bridge unless my brother comes back after me to collect his gun. I didn't know you owned a gun. Well, I need to look after my business, you know. So what do you intend to do with the dog? Actually, I was talking with Hope about adopting a dog yesterday, right before we started arguing. You seem to argue with your father. You seem to argue with your family a lot recently. I can sense your anger, Jack. Oh, really? What is it? Does my aura give it away? See if it comes out again. Doesn't matter if you believe me or not. Anyway, Hope accused me of not spending enough time with her, so I was thinking maybe getting her a dog would be a good way of reconnecting with her. Sounds like what she needs is your love, not a pet. Dog was just her way of drawing your attention. I know, but seems like a good start, right? Sure, any reason to spend more time with your kid is good. You should give the dog a name. A name. Coming up with one was always tricky. It would have taken weeks if I was to really think it through. I decided to just go with what came to my mind now. I looked at the dog. He tilted his head. First idea was pretty simple. Odin, the Norse god of war, victory, and hunting. It was a good, strong name. Second name that came to me was Xander. As a boy, I really hated learning history, yet I always liked listening about Alexander the Great. It seemed more thrilling than the rest of the subjects. I wouldn't mind naming a dog after him. The last idea emerged when I thought about Hope. What was his favorite movie of hers called? Dragon something? And there's a dragon. There must be a brave knight to defeat it. This guy here was brave enough to be called Knight. Odin, Xander, or Knight? I'll name him Knight. It fits him well. By the way, Jack, there's one more thing I need to tell you. Don't tell me you and Nat had an affair. I'd have to shoot you right here. Please don't. I got my own debts to pay off. What is it then? There was this chick at the station asking for Hal. She said she knew you. Oh yeah, no. I mean, she's just a chick I met and wanted to help. She seemed out of this place. At first I thought she was some kind of junkie. She gave me this really weird feeling. She was shivering too. Anyway, Hal took her to the station. So she's not my problem anymore. But that's not all. Another woman arrived last evening, asking after that chick. There was something about her I couldn't quite put my finger on. And boy, she was a stunner. You should have seen her. She was lean like a doe. What was I saying? The other woman? Oh yeah, she asked about the military base. I thought she might be a spook or something. A spook? Have you been watching too many action flicks, Chief? I'm telling you, man, something's going down. So many soldiers arrived yesterday. Now this woman, there was also a guy with his briefcase this morning, and he... Hold up, Bob. You're getting carried away. It's just another weekend in town, only with some outsiders traveling through. Yeah, you're probably right. I better head back now. Got a business to run. See you later, Chief. When Bob left, I approached night. I decided to try Bob's trick to see if I could get a similar result. I clicked my tongue, extended my hand. First, the dog just sniffed my palm, reluctant to do anything more, but after a brief moment and hesitation, he licked my fingers. I took it as a good sign. It was a start. So does this mean we're friends now? I scratched his back, causing a lot of tail wagging. It was just as I had thought. He was a good lap dog. His previous aggression must have been caused by a mix of fear and pain. As I patted him on his head, he was nothing more but a giant pet. A pet with a jaw full of fangs and enough biting force to take your hand off, but still a pet. Hope would love him for sure. Funny that I came here to escape from all the tension with Natalie, but thanks to my new friend, I wanted to go back. I wanted to see the surprise on their faces. I wanted to see how happy Hope would be, and how Natalie, unsure at first, would change her mind as soon as she saw them playing together. I knew it wouldn't resolve all our issues, that I would still need to face my shortcomings. The dog gave me a starting point. I knew what to do, and I had the confidence to do it. It didn't take night long to start frolicking around. I wasn't against a little wrestle plan, but knowing that the wound on his neck was still pretty fresh, I tried to do it as carefully as possible. Yet when nearly 30 kilos of deadly fluffiness jumped on me, I got overturned in a moment. I was too afraid to grab the dog by his skin. Soon I regretted it. I hadn't done it, as our little play caused additional costs. I heard a loud crack near my right pocket. Okay, buddy, stop. That's enough. No, Knight, enough. Sit. When I finally managed to get from under the dog, I reached under my pocket, only to find that my phone took the whole enterprise pretty badly. The screen was covered in cracks. The battery went loose and the frame above the speaker was smashed. For a second, I thought it was done for. Fortunately, as soon as I put the battery back in, the phone came back to life. The case was cracked, but it was still usable. In the end, I decided to call it a night. It had been a long day. Planned on going for a hunt in the morning, so hitting bed early was crucial. Reporting in. This is not a scheduled call, Agent. The woman got away. No one told me what to expect of her. She attacked several people at the hospital. I saw her. Calm down, Agent. This wasn't in the briefing. The girl basically bit her way out of the hospital and jumped off a third-story window. She was like mad. I've never seen anything like that. And the others? The locals are shocked. Sheriff wants to organize a manhunt. I've already seen soldiers from the military base moving around town. The town will undergo a quarantine in a matter of 2 hours. This should make your second task easier. Your briefing. Listen to me. If what she's carrying is infectious, your quarantine won't be able to contain it. People will die. I need to find her. Calm down, Agent. Focus on your second target and let us do our part. What about my extraction? You'll figure something out. Your task is to secure the scientist and get him out alive. And the second asset? He is none of your concern. Find the scientist, get him out alive, bring him to us. Do not fail this time. We would be very sorry to see you go. It was still dark outside when I woke up. Night was sleeping on the carpet near the fireplace. I rubbed my eyes and reached down for the phone to check the time. Weird. Seems the battery's dead. I was pretty sure it was around 40% the evening before. It seemed impossible to have discharged overnight. I must have forgotten to turn it off or something. There was nothing I could do about it now. I plugged the charger in and went to wake up my new friend. Hey, buddy. You in for a hunt? Come on. You'll like it. I could use some help. Think you're up for it? That's more like it. To be honest, I had no idea if taking Night was a good idea. There was a pretty big chance he'd scare off all the other animals. People often hunted with other hounds, but you needed to know how to train your dog for it. Worst case scenario, we'd just have a nice stroll around the forest. I took my pocket knife, my rifle, and a piece of bandage with me. I wanted to be prepared. Better than the day before. I knew the area surrounding the cabin pretty well. I had a general idea where deer tended to roam. Even if I wouldn't shoot any, it was always a great spot for one. That's what I had tried to communicate to Bob. It's not about the shot, it's about the hunt. We were walking quietly for half an hour. I was thinking about the guy who had left Night. I had no respect for such a person. I remembered the rope. It must have belonged to a climber or somebody working with boats. Bastard. Suddenly, Night had stopped and started sniffing around. I knew he must have caught a trace. I had a feeling he was a real person after all. I decided to trust his instincts. The dog's sense of smell could guide you to places you'd otherwise miss. He stood still for a minute, focused on one direction. He began to growl, but I couldn't see anything. The dog began to run. I started to keep up with him. I was trying to guess what we were both up against. A bear, a deer, something else? However, what I saw was a person. Young man in a blue sport jacket and a baseball hat. Silver carabiners in his belt. Rattled as he walked. Compared to me, he made a hell of a lot of noise. I had never seen him before. What I did recognize, though, was the place we were in. Same place where I found Night the day before. Before I had a chance to connect the dots, all hell broke loose. The two of us weren't the only people around. There was someone else, someone I didn't expect to see again. It was that woman from the gas station, Jane. She was moving extremely fast. She ran up to the unsuspecting guy and jumped right on top of him, knocking him down. She leaned down toward his arm and... That's when the screaming started. At first, I couldn't really comprehend what was going on. My mind tried to come up with some kind of explanation. Maybe they were just fooling around. Maybe it was some stupid charade. Maybe I was daydreaming. Took some time before the reality of what was happening hit me fully. I would never forget that sight. Jane bit off a part of the guy's arm and swallowed it. I saw her face. She was covered in blood when she bent down again to sink her teeth into the guy's throat. It was no longer a human face. She was devouring a living person. Can you imagine it? The guy was screaming in pain. He was trying to push her off, but didn't have enough strength. When she reached for the neck, it was already too late for him. Soon the screaming was replaced by gargling and gnawing. I couldn't move. I was paralyzed with fear. Night reacted first. He lunged at Jane, clenching his jaws on her hand. I don't know where her strength came from, but she turned the jaws open and threw him away as if he were a paper doll. That's when she noticed me. Even though there were more than 20 meters between us, I could see her eyes. They weren't human anymore. She wasn't human. She was something else. There was nothing in her face besides a primal rage. It was ancient fury of a wild beast in its most basic form. She lunged right at me. Her moves were quick and determined. She caught up with me before I had any time to think. Moments like this made you act on your instincts. Shoot her. I never gave it a conscious thought. I raised my rifle. My body reacted on its own, recognizing the familiar motion. I aimed and it took one shot. For a split second, my mind became crystal clear. I wasn't sure if it would make any difference. I breathed out and waited the sentence. It was enough. I shot her right in the chest and through a lung. She was squirming on the grass, whimpering. As her breath grew desperate and her moves sluggish, she started crying. When I shot animals, I always made sure they didn't suffer. If my shot missed its mark, I shot again. But this was different. I stood above a young woman crying from pain. A woman who tried to eat a man alive a few seconds prior. A woman whom I had met 2 days earlier. What was I supposed to do? Shoot her again. I couldn't stand the sight anymore. I reached for my rifle and took aim. As I looked through the gun sight, our eyes met again. This time, something was different. She was calm. It looked as if her eyes begged me to end the pain. Those weren't the eyes of a beast anymore. It was her. I couldn't bring myself to speak her name. Shot broke the dead silence of the forest. I'm not sure how long I was still, staring at her empty eyes. They were mesmerizing. At one point, it came to me. It was the first time I had ever shot another human. It was a murderer. I was a murderer. I had killed a person. It didn't matter why. I ended the life of someone who had a family, who had friends and dreams. I took it all away. I threw up. As I was struggling to catch my breath and get a grip on myself, I remembered that Knight was still out there. I had to find him. First thought that came after me was Natalie. The first thought that came after was Natalie. I touched my pockets, feeling for my cell phone. I need to get back to the cabin. As I decided to head straight back to the cabin, I heard a quiet whine. I looked around frantically, searching for Knight. He was nearby, whimpering softly and licking the face of the now dead man. I wondered if that was his former owner. If so, what was he doing here? Had he come to end his unfinished business? Too afraid that someone would find out, or maybe he had a change of heart and came to get his dog back? Guess we'll never know. I called out to Knight and started running back. He followed me, limping. After getting hit like that, it was no wonder. I had no idea what was going on and why that woman attacked me. The only thing I knew for certain was that I needed to call Natalie. I had to make sure she was safe. There was no time to waste. I picked up my pace. The sight of the massacre was still fresh in my head. With all my might, I tried to think about something else, but the memory of blood and the torn out fragments of flesh was haunting me. It was like a horror movie playing over and over, right in front of my eyes. My stomach turned upside down whenever I thought about what had happened. I could picture Jane's eyes staring back at me when I had taken the shot. I knew it was the right thing to do. It had to be. I had shot a young woman point blank in the head. There was nothing I could have done for her at that point. She was dangerous. I saw what she had done to the other guy. She came after me like an animal. It was either me or her, and I was the one with the rifle. Deep in my mind, I thank God, I was grateful that she wasn't as young as she wanted to appear. I wouldn't bring myself to shoot a child. I couldn't stop my hands from shaking. I clenched my teeth and tried to focus. Thought about having myself some whiskey, but I wasn't sure if it'd make any difference. I needed to talk with somebody. I needed to talk with Natalie. God, I missed her. My hand shook when I reached for my phone. I unplugged from the charger and pushed the power button. I wanted to make the call immediately, but as soon as the phone came back to life, it got flooded with messages. Missed call, missed call, missed call, missed call, voice message, missed call, missed call. There were at least a dozen unread messages. They were all from yesterday. How was it possible for me to miss so many calls? When I looked back at the phone, I realized how. Back when I was playing one night, the screen wasn't the only thing that got smashed. I must have somehow damaged the speaker. The phone must have been constantly ringing. I just didn't hear it. That would explain why it was discharged in the morning. But who was calling me so many times and why? I needed to hear the voicemail, but the speaker wasn't working. I did the silliest thing that came to my mind. I punched the goddamn thing. You know what? It worked. I quickly connected to my voicemail. You have 4 new messages. First new message. Message recorded on Saturday, 11:48 p.m. Jack, please pick up the phone. This junkie, hey, they brought in yesterday? She snapped. God. She's attacked some of the staff. They were only 3 of us. Another nurse and a doctor. Jacob's gotten bitten and scratched. I've never seen anything like that, but I'm okay. But she jumped out the window and vanished. I'm worried about Hope. I'll be heading back. Call me back soon. Second new message. Message recorded on Sunday. Pick up the phone. You need to get back here, Jack. This isn't time to play your silent treatment. Besides, this is women's domain. The people I've told you about are getting worse. Some of them got a terrible fever. One got really aggressive and we need to sedate him. Something's not right. Please call me back as soon as you get this. I'm scared. Third new message. Message recorded on Sunday, 1:32 a.m. Jack! I can hear gunshots here in the hospital. I need you to get back right now. What the hell is going on? Oh no. Ah! Fourth new message. Message recorded Sunday, 4:56 a.m. I'm coming for you, Jack. I've left Hope with... Stay where you are. The signal... Then it hit me. Sunday, 4:56 was 3 hours ago. All of this had already happened. And Natalie... After the voicemail stopped playing, I just stood there staring at the screen. I guess I needed a moment to process what had happened. As soon as I snapped out of my stupor, I knew that I had to find Nat. Nat? What? My first instinct was to call her, but my phone had had enough. That damn machine broke completely. The screen went black and it wouldn't respond to me, pressing the keys. Knight seemed to sense my distress. He came closer. Do you want to help me, buddy? I had little choice. I took Knight and went off. I knew that Natalie had been coming for me, and I knew the route she must have taken. It wasn't a long road, but I had no other means of finding her. With the dog at my side, I clung to what little hope I had left. I scarcely remember getting into the car and setting off. Sweat trickled down my back the entire way. I wasn't speeding only because I was worried I might miss her. Eventually, I found our roadster, crashed beside the road. I parked there and went out. Natalie was nowhere to be seen. My heart skipped a beat, and as I scanned the surroundings, my thoughts scrambled. I couldn't bear the thought that the last memory Natalie would have of me would be that of an absent jerk. That our argument would be the last time we saw each other. I had to find her. I had to find her and make things right. But for all my determination and effort, Knight was the one who found her. He darted off the road and into the forest. I followed. I didn't think much. It was instinct. I guess I trusted him. It didn't take long. We didn't even move far from the car before I saw her stumbling between the trees. She didn't seem to recognize me. Her eyes were dazed, her skin dead pale. I didn't know what to do. She was wounded. I could see a piece of her shirt wrapped around her arm. I had left her again. I wasn't there when she needed me most. What was I to tell her? Calmer. Nat? Jack, where are you? Natalie, I'm right here. It's gonna be all right. I'm here. I cradled her. She shook in my arms, but calmed down a little. Jack, is that you? Yes, it's me, sweetie. I'm so sorry. I broke the car. Forget about the car, silly. Everything will be fine. I could see her shiver. At first I thought it was because of the car crash or her wound. Then realization hit me. We were in the middle of the forest, the place that Natalie truly feared. Yet she still came here for me. After all I had said and done, she was an angel of courage. What happened? In the hospital, you wouldn't believe me. Try me. They brought in a young woman with strange symptoms, weak yet explosive. She had a bite mark on her forearm. We thought she might have autodestructive impulses. She said she was hungry, but she wouldn't touch any food. We put her on a drip. We didn't know how else to help her. One day later, Dr. Jacobs came in to check up on her, and she snapped. She scratched him, bit him, hit him and a nurse who tried to restrain her. She dashed out of the room and attacked several other patients. When security guards tried to shoot her, she jumped out of a window from the 3rd story. We took care of Dr. Jacobs and the patients, but things got weird. I felt queasy. I didn't like where it was going. Still, I had to ask. Weird how? They got terrible fever. We couldn't bring it down, and sheriff declared a manhunt. He mobilized officers. I think they got the military involved, too. They set up checkpoints for some reason. It seems like they're trying to keep people in. Then there was that woman. It's hard to say who she was, I swear to God, but I was sure she was my coworker, but turned out she wasn't. I don't know who she was. What about you? Are you hurt? I'm fine. I was worried about you. Why didn't you call me back? My throat clenched when I thought about what had happened in the morning, how Natalie's patient ended up. I shouldn't lie to Natalie. There were already too much bad blood between us. She deserved my honesty. Then again, after all she went through, wouldn't it be even more cruel to tell her what had happened? I swallowed, and then I decided to... tell her everything. I told her how I found Knight and how he broke my phone. What came next was more difficult. I had to tell Nat what became of her patient, how I found her, and that she was too far gone to save her, that I had to shoot her in self-defense. If Natalie had been pale before, now she was sickly. I don't know if it's because of what Jane had turned into or because of what I had done. At any rate, it wasn't the worst of it. Natalie interrupted me only once. God, I didn't think, how could that happen? I've no idea. It was as if she turned into an animal. But she was human, Jack, only just hours ago. I know, Nat, but listen, I didn't have a choice. I had to defend myself. I understand. She attacked me, Nat. Not the other way around, remember that. The worst part was what happened later. I had to confess to killing that woman. As if she was a morbid animal. I didn't try to sugar it, yes. I had thought that it was a mercy, but it was still a kill. I would never forget the look in Natalie's eyes. It haunts me to this day, the disbelief, the pain. Still, Nat was a strong woman. She hid her emotions quickly. We both had more important things to do than dwelling on the past. What happened with Hope? Is she still at home? God, no, I wouldn't leave her alone. I took her with me, but she was scared, and I thought, I didn't know what happened to you. I was worried what we might find, so I dropped her at Bob's. He promised to take care of her, and I trust him. We're supposed to meet outside the town. Well, shoot me. For the moment back then, I felt relief. I thought that regardless of what happened to me and Nat, at least our daughter was safe. I didn't know anything. What the hell happened here? Thank you all for watching Perseverance and Da Vinci Gaming. Hope you all have enjoyed the story. We will do part 2 in a couple of days. You all have a wonderful evening.